Hello, and welcome. If you're listening to this right now, there's a good chance you're somewhere quiet. Maybe you're in bed with the lights turned low. Maybe you're lying on your side, feeling the weight of the day slowly lifting. Or perhaps you're sitting somewhere comfortable, letting your shoulders drop, just beginning to wind down. Wherever you are, you're welcome here. Tonight we're going to take a gentle journey together. A journey through the night. Not the kind of journey that requires your full attention or asks you to remember facts or figures. This is different. This is simply an invitation to listen and to let your mind wander wherever it needs to go. You don't need to remember anything from tonight. You don't need to take notes or test yourself later or prove that you were paying attention. It's enough just to be here. It's enough just to listen. Some of what we talk about tonight might stay with you. Some of it might drift away before morning. And that's exactly as it should be. Because this isn't really about learning in the traditional sense. It's about giving your mind something gentle to focus on, something soft, something that feels safe. We're going to explore what happens inside your brain as you move from wakefulness into sleep, from the alert, busy state of being awake, through drowsiness and light sleep, down into the deep restorative stages, and eventually into the world of dreams. We'll move slowly through each stage, taking our time, letting ideas settle rather than rush past. Your brain already knows how to do all of this. Every single night, without you needing to think about it or control it, your brain moves through these stages naturally. Like breathing, like your heart beating, it's built in. So tonight you can simply rest. You can let go of any pressure to sleep perfectly, or to follow along perfectly, or to stay awake until the end. None of that matters. What matters is that you're here, and you're giving yourself this time to be still. If you drift off partway through, that's beautiful. If you stay awake for the whole thing, that's perfectly fine too. There's no right way to do this. Let's begin. During the day, your brain is alert. It's scanning. It's managing a long list of small tasks and decisions, moment by moment, hour by hour. What to say next? Where to look? What that sound means, whether you need water or food or rest. Your waking brain is like someone walking through a busy market, carrying a backpack full of responsibilities. Some of them are heavy, some are just small, constant reminders. But they're there, and they take up space. When you're awake, your brain is responding to light, to noise, to movement. It's taking in information from the world around you and deciding what to do with it. Most of the time, you're not even aware of how much work this requires. It happens automatically in the background while you go about your day. Your brain also keeps track of time. It knows roughly when morning is, when afternoon is, when evening is. This internal clock, called your circadian rhythm, helps your body understand when to feel alert and when to start winding down. And as the day moves forward, as the light begins to fade, something shifts. Your brain starts to prepare for night. It's subtle at first. You might feel a slight heaviness in your eyelids, a quietness settling over your thoughts. Your body begins to release melatonin, a gentle signal that says, "It's time to rest now." And slowly, gently, your brain begins to take off its backpack. It doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual. Task by task, thought by thought, your brain starts to let things go. The constant scanning slows down. The need to respond to every little sound or movement becomes less urgent. You start to feel heavier, softer. This is your brain doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's not failing you. It's not broken. It's simply shifting gears, moving from the busy work of the day into something quieter, something more restful, And as you settle into this quietness, as you let your mind begin to drift, the first stage of sleep is already waiting for you. Gently, patiently, without any rush at all. There's a moment, right at the edge of sleep, where thoughts stop making sense in the usual way. You might notice this happening as you lie in bed. You're thinking about something, maybe replaying a conversation from earlier in the day, or planning something for tomorrow. And then, without warning, the thought drifts sideways. It becomes less linear, less logical, more like a dream, but not quite a dream yet. This is stage 1 of sleep. It's the very beginning, the threshold, the space between being awake and being asleep. Your brain is still lightly active, but it's starting to slow down. The rapid, alert brain waves of wakefulness begin to soften into something gentler, something slower. Scientists call these theta waves, but you don't need to remember that. What matters is the feeling, the sense that your mind is loosening its grip on the day. Your heart rate slows a little. Your breathing becomes deeper, more rhythmic. Your muscles start to relax one by one, as if someone is gently smoothing out the tension you've been carrying. Sometimes, in this stage, your body does something that feels a little strange. You might suddenly jerk awake, or feel like you're falling. This is called a hypnic jerk, and it's completely normal. It happens because your muscles are relaxing so quickly that your brain momentarily thinks something is wrong. It sends a quick signal to check, and your body twitches. If this happens to you, it doesn't mean you're bad at sleeping. It doesn't mean you're too stressed or too anxious or doing something wrong. It's just a quirk of how the brain transitions from wakefulness to sleep. It's harmless. It's human. Stage 1 doesn't last very long, usually just a few minutes. You might drift in and out of it several times before you move deeper. You might hear a sound from outside and come back to wakefulness for a moment, then drift again. That's okay. That's part of the process. During this time, your thoughts become more floaty, more abstract. You might have brief flashes of images or ideas that don't quite connect. A face you haven't thought about in years, a place you used to visit, a color or a feeling with no clear reason behind it. This is your brain letting go, releasing the need to make everything make sense, allowing things to be loose and soft and unstructured. And as you settle further into this feeling, as your body becomes heavier and your thoughts become quieter, the next stage is already beginning. Light sleep, the first real layer of rest. Stage 2 is where most of your night is spent. If you measured a full night's sleep, you'd find that roughly half of it happens here, in this gentle protective layer called light sleep. It's called light sleep because you can still be woken fairly easily. A noise from another room, a shift in temperature, a thought that suddenly feels urgent. But even though it's light, it's not unimportant. Your brain is doing real work here. In stage 2, something interesting happens. Your brain produces what scientists call sleep spindles and K-complexes. These are short bursts of brain activity, little protective signals that help keep you asleep, even when there's noise or movement around you. You can think of them as your brain's way of saying, "It's okay, you don't need to wake up for that. I've got this." Sleep spindles are also thought to play a role in memory. While you're in light sleep, your brain is quietly sorting through the day, deciding what's worth keeping and what can be let go. It's a bit like someone organizing a cluttered desk, filing away the important things and discarding the rest. You don't need to do anything to make this happen. You don't need to think about your memories or review your day. Your brain does this on its own, automatically, while you rest. In stage 2, your body temperature drops slightly. Your heart rate continues to slow. Your muscles are deeply relaxed now, though not completely still. If you were to move, you could. But most of the time, you don't need to. This is a quiet stage, a stable stage. Your brain is holding you here gently while deeper processes begin to prepare. The brain is cleaning itself in subtle ways, clearing out waste products that build up during the day. It's a kind of maintenance that can only happen when you're not actively thinking or moving or responding to the world. If you wake up from stage 2, you might not even realize you were asleep. You might think you were just resting or drifting or lying there with your eyes closed. That's because the line between light sleep and wakefulness can feel quite thin. But your brain knows the difference. Your body knows the difference. And as the night goes on, as you move through cycle after cycle of sleep, stage 2 becomes a kind of home base, a place your brain returns to again and again. Between the deeper stages and the dreaming stages, it's the quiet middle, the steady rhythm. You might be in stage 2 right now, listening to these words, your mind half here and half somewhere else. And that's exactly right. That's exactly where you're meant to be. Let yourself stay here for as long as you need. Let your brain do its gentle work. There's no rush. The deeper stages will come when they're ready. There's a place your brain goes, usually in the first half of the night, where everything becomes very, very still. This is deep sleep, sometimes called slow-wave sleep, because the brain waves here are long and slow, rolling like gentle ocean swells. Deep sleep is the heavy blanket of rest. It's the stage where your body does its most important physical restoration, where muscles repair, where tissues heal, where the immune system strengthens itself, preparing to face another day. If you were to look at someone in deep sleep, you'd see how still they are, how deeply relaxed. Their breathing is slow and steady. Their face is soft. They're not dreaming in the vivid way they will later in the night. They're simply resting, deeply, completely. It's very hard to wake someone from deep sleep. If you tried, they might not respond right away. And if they did wake, they'd feel disoriented, groggy, confused. This is because deep sleep is the furthest your brain travels from wakefulness. It's the most protected stage, the most restorative. During deep sleep, your brain releases growth hormone. This is especially important for children and teenagers whose bodies are still developing. But even in adults, growth hormone plays a role in repairing cells and maintaining healthy tissues. It's one of the reasons why sleep is so closely connected to physical health. Your brain is also consolidating memories during deep sleep, particularly the kind of memories that involve facts and information. If you studied something during the day or learned a new skill, deep sleep helps lock that learning into place. Not perfectly, not all at once, but gradually, night by night, your brain strengthens the connections that matter. You don't need to control this process. You don't need to think about it or guide it. Your body knows how to do this. It's been doing it since you were born. Every night, without fail, your brain moves into deep sleep and does the work that needs to be done. If you struggle with sleep, you might worry that you're not getting enough deep sleep. And it's true that stress, noise, alcohol, and certain medications can reduce the amount of time you spend in this stage. But your brain is remarkably good at prioritizing what it needs. If you've been sleep deprived, your brain will give you more deep sleep the next night to catch up. It's called sleep rebound, and it's one of the many ways your body takes care of you. Deep sleep usually happens more in the first half of the night. So if you go to bed at 11 and wake at 7, You'll get most of your deep sleep between 11 and 2 or 3 in the morning. Later in the night, the cycles shift. You spend less time in deep sleep and more time in lighter stages and in REM sleep, where dreams become more vivid. This is completely normal. This is how sleep is supposed to work. Your brain doesn't need to stay in deep sleep all night. It needs to cycle, to move, to balance the different kinds of rest your body requires. And right now, as you listen to this, you don't need to worry about whether you're in deep sleep or not. You don't need to monitor yourself. You don't need to check. Your brain will take you there if it needs to. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Even light rest is still rest. Even lying quietly with your eyes closed is giving your body something valuable. Let yourself trust the process. Let yourself sink into whatever stage your brain chooses. There's no wrong way to rest. There's no failure here. Only the gentle, patient work of your body taking care of itself, night after night after night. Later in the night, something shifts. Your brain becomes more active again, not in the alert, scanning way of wakefulness, but in a different way, a stranger way. This is REM sleep, the stage where vivid dreaming often appears. REM stands for rapid eye movement, because during this stage, your eyes move quickly beneath your closed eyelids, as if you're watching something. And in a sense, you are. You're watching the dreams that your brain is creating. Your brain during REM sleep is a fascinating mix. Some parts are very active, almost as active as when you're awake. The areas involved in emotion, memory, and visual processing are lit up, weaving together images and stories and feelings. But other parts of your brain, the parts responsible for logic and critical thinking, are much quieter. This is why dreams often feel so strange, why they don't follow the usual rules of time or space or cause and effect. At the same time, something important happens to your muscles. They become temporarily paralyzed. This is called REM atonia, and it's a safety feature. It stops you from physically acting out your dreams. If you're dreaming that you're running, your legs don't actually move. If you're dreaming that you're reaching for something, your arms stay still. This can sound a little unsettling if you've never heard of it before, but it's completely normal. It's protective. And when you wake up, the paralysis fades immediately. You regain control of your body without even noticing. Sometimes, very rarely, people wake up during REM sleep before the muscle paralysis has fully worn off. This is called sleep paralysis, and it can feel frightening in the moment. But it's harmless, it passes quickly, and it doesn't mean anything is wrong with your brain or your body. It's just a brief mismatch in timing. REM sleep is thought to play a role in emotional processing. During the day, you experience things that stir up feelings: joy, frustration, sadness, excitement, worry. And during REM sleep, your brain seems to work through those feelings, integrating them, softening their edges. It's as if your brain is saying, "Okay, this happened. Let's make sense of it. Let's find a place for it." You spend more time in REM sleep in the second half of the night. So if you sleep for 8 hours, the longest and most vivid REM periods usually happen in the early morning, just before you wake up. This is why you often remember dreams from the end of the night more clearly than dreams from the beginning. But not everyone remembers their dreams, and that's perfectly fine. Remembering or not remembering doesn't change whether the dreams happened. It doesn't change whether your brain got what it needed from REM sleep. Some people wake up with vivid, detailed memories of their dreams. Others wake up with only a vague sense that they dreamed about something. And others remember nothing at all. All of these are normal. All of these are okay. Right now, you might be drifting toward REM sleep, or you might be somewhere else entirely. You might be in light sleep, or deep sleep, or still hovering at the edge of wakefulness. Wherever you are, it's exactly where you need to be. Your brain knows what to do. It's been doing this your whole life, and it will keep doing it gently and quietly while you rest. Your brain doesn't stay in one stage of sleep all night. Instead, it cycles. It moves through the stages in a pattern, roughly every 90 minutes or so. This is called a sleep cycle. A typical cycle starts with light sleep in stage 1, then moves into stage 2, then down into deep sleep, stages 3 and 4, and then, after some time, back up into stage 2, and finally into REM sleep. And then the cycle starts again. 90 minutes is just an average. Your cycles might be a little shorter or a little longer, and they're not identical throughout the night. The cycles at the beginning of the night are different from the cycles at the end. Early in the night, you spend more time in deep sleep. Your body prioritizes physical restoration first, muscle repair, immune support, the heavy restorative work that your body needs after a long day. Later in the night, the balance shifts. You spend less time in deep sleep and more time in REM sleep. Your brain turns its attention to emotional processing, memory consolidation, and dreaming. The cycles become lighter, more fragmented, more flexible. This is why, if you wake up naturally without an alarm, you often wake from REM sleep or light sleep, rather than from deep sleep. Your brain is already close to wakefulness. It's easier to surface. It's also completely normal to wake up briefly between cycles. You might not even remember it in the morning. You might shift position, adjust your blanket, open your eyes for a moment, and then drift back to sleep. These brief awakenings are part of how sleep works. They're not a sign that something is wrong. In fact, research suggests that waking between cycles is something humans have done for thousands of years. Before electric lights and alarm clocks and structured work schedules, people often woke in the middle of the night for a little while, then went back to sleep. It was normal, expected. So if you wake tonight, or if you wake between cycles on any other night, you don't need to panic. You don't need to worry that your sleep is broken or that you won't be able to fall back asleep. You can simply notice that you're awake, let yourself rest quietly for a moment, and trust that your brain will take you back into sleep when it's ready. You might complete 4 or 5 full cycles in a night. Maybe more if you sleep longer. Maybe fewer if your night is shorter. But each cycle, even the imperfect ones, is giving your brain and body something they need. There's no perfect sleep, no ideal number of cycles, no exact formula. There's only your sleep, your body, your brain, doing the best it can, night after night, with whatever time and circumstances it's given. And that's enough, it really is. Have you ever noticed that waking up feels different depending on when it happens? If you wake from deep sleep, you feel groggy, disoriented, heavy. Your thoughts are slow. Your body feels like it's made of something thicker than usual. This is called sleep inertia, and it's completely normal. It just means your brain was deeply resting and needs a few minutes to transition back to wakefulness. If you wake from REM sleep, you might feel more alert, but also a little strange. You might remember fragments of a dream. You might feel emotional or confused, or like you're still half inside the dream world. This is because your brain was active during REM sleep, processing emotions and creating vivid imagery. It takes a moment to fully return to waking reality. If you wake from light sleep, You might not even realize you are asleep. You might think you are just lying there, resting. The transition is smoother, quieter. None of these experiences mean you slept badly. They're just different points in the cycle, different moments in the night, and depending on where you are in that cycle when you wake, the feeling will be different. Sleep inertia, that grogginess after waking from deep sleep, usually fades within a few minutes. Sometimes it takes a little longer, especially if you've been very sleep-deprived. But it always fades. It's not permanent. It's not a sign of failure. If you need to wake up at a specific time and you happen to wake from deep sleep, you might feel frustrated by how groggy you are. But your brain isn't doing this to punish you. It's simply in the middle of important restorative work. And even though it feels unpleasant in the moment, that grogginess means your brain was doing exactly what it needed to do. Waking naturally, without an alarm, usually means you wake from a lighter stage of sleep, which is why it often feels gentler. But not everyone has the luxury of waking naturally. And that's okay. Your brain is adaptable. It can handle being woken at different points in the cycle. It's not ideal, but it's not harmful either. What matters most is not obsessing over when or how you wake. What matters is giving yourself permission to feel however you feel in those first few minutes. Groggy? That's okay. Disoriented? That's okay. Still half in a dream? That's okay too. Let yourself wake slowly. Let your brain and body adjust in their own time. There's no rush. There's no need to force alertness before it's ready. You're doing fine. You really are. It's easy to believe that sleep only counts if it's perfect. If you fall asleep quickly, stay asleep all night, wake up feeling refreshed, and never have a single restless moment. But that's not how sleep works for most people, and it's certainly not how it has to work in order to be valuable. Even fragmented sleep gives your brain something. Even light sleep without much deep sleep is still doing important work. Even lying in bed with your eyes closed, resting but not fully sleeping, gives your body a chance to slow down and recover. You don't need 8 uninterrupted hours to be okay. You don't need to hit every stage of sleep in perfect balance. You don't need to wake up feeling like you've been completely restored, as if by magic. Sleep is not pass or fail. It's not something you can get a perfect score on. It's a process, a rhythm. And some nights that rhythm is smoother than others. Some nights are easier, some nights are harder. And all of that is okay. If you're someone who struggles with sleep, who lies awake worrying about not sleeping, this might be the most important thing to hear. Even imperfect sleep is still useful. Even a night that feels broken or restless is still giving your brain and body something they need. The more you can let go of the need for perfect sleep, the easier sleep becomes. The more you can release the pressure, the judgment, the constant monitoring of how well you're doing, the more space you create for rest to actually happen. This doesn't mean you shouldn't care about sleep. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to create good conditions for rest. A dark room, a comfortable temperature, a quiet space, a consistent routine, all of these things can help. But they're not requirements. They're not the difference between success and failure. You are not failing if your sleep isn't perfect. You are not doing something wrong if you wake up in the middle of the night. You are not broken if you feel tired even after sleeping. You're human, and human sleep is messy, variable, imperfect, and that's okay. It really truly is. So tonight, if you find yourself lying awake or waking earlier than you wanted, or drifting in and out of light sleep instead of sinking into something deeper, try to meet yourself with kindness. Try to let go of the story that this is wrong. try to simply rest in whatever way rest is available to you right now. Your body will take what it needs, your brain will do what it can, and tomorrow you'll wake up and you'll keep going, just like you always do. That's enough. You're enough. We've walked through the night together, from wakefulness through drowsiness, into light sleep and deep sleep, and finally into the dreaming world of REM. We've talked about cycles and awakenings and the many ways your brain moves through the hours of darkness. But here's the truth. You don't need to remember any of this. Your brain already knows how to sleep. It doesn't need instructions. It doesn't need a manual. It's been doing this since before you were born, in the quiet darkness of the womb, and it will keep doing it for the rest of your life. You don't need to monitor yourself. You don't need to check which stage you're in, or count your cycles, or worry about whether you're doing it right. There is no right. There's only your body moving through the night in its own way, at its own pace. All you need to do is rest. Just rest. Let your thoughts drift wherever they want to go. Let your body settle into whatever position feels most comfortable. Let your breathing slow and deepen and find its own rhythm. You don't need to be awake anymore. You don't need to hold on to the day. You can let it go now, all of it. The tasks, the worries, the plans, the replays of conversations. You can let them drift away, like leaves floating down a quiet stream. Tonight you're safe. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to stop trying. You're allowed to simply be here, in this moment, without needing to do anything or be anything or prove anything. Your brain will take care of you. Your body will take care of you. They always have. They always will. So let yourself drift now. Let yourself soften. Let yourself sink into the quiet. There's nothing more you need to do. Just rest. Just rest. Good night.